could be proud of. It would be a grand project for the capital city, they said, including what they called the Pentagon of the North. The National Defense Headquarters was to be located there, a building so grand that they dubbed it, even before there was a shovel in the ground, the Pentagon of the North. Those were the plans. They destroyed an entire village, sobbing women around me in the rain. I'll never forget it. Well, how did it work out? Let me see. That was 1962. This is 2020, almost 2021. We're looking at 58 years later. Where is the national headquarters? Where is this Pentagon of the North? Where is this grand community? Well, 58, 59 years later, it's what? For the most part, still a wonderful weed-full field. Try to say that. It's tragic. One building, of course, is the War Museum. It's done a very good job there. It just takes up a tiny fraction. And the other thing that they have built on this grand plot of land is unquestionably the ugliest damn condo on the face of the planet. That's what's featured on LeBreton Flats, 58 years after they smashed an entire village in the name of progress. Homes, hotels, restaurants, village destroyed under the tracks of bulldozers because the urban planners said, this is what we should do. It was tragic. And 58 years later, it's still tragic there. And then a few years, well, about 1 year later, I decided, my wife at the time decided we were going to start a little pet shop in the city of Ottawa. I insisted that it be on Spark Street. Why on Sparks? Because Spark Street was the business hub of the city. This was the prestigious place that I wanted to build on, and we did. Now, mind you, Spark Street was so crowded, so jammed with customers, et cetera, and restaurants and businesses and stores, just absolutely jammed, that I got on Spark Street all right, but it was a little bit west of Bank. Not exactly in the center, but it was still Spark Street. So the planners came along. Urban renewal. Let us sanitize Spark Street, they said. Well, I'm going to tell you, in those days, you could hardly find a place to walk on Spark Street. Today, on most days, you could fire a cannon down Spark Street and you wouldn't hit a damn soul. So urban planning hasn't worked so well there either, has it? Unbelievable. Urban renewal, the planners. Folks, I tell you, when the planners say that they're going to move in and really improve things, look out, because they're going to destroy it. Oh yeah. Remember many of you probably around when the grand plan, they were really going to create a super street out of Rideau Street. Remember that? Where this idea came from, I have no idea, but this was progress, folks. We are going to enclose the sidewalks with glass. Oy, sacre bleu black the bing bong bats. That didn't work out so good, did it? I guess not. Cost us millions. Almost destroyed Rideau Street. I mean, the only people who loved it were the people that slept there all night long, right? So finally they had to take down. The only remnant left, apparently, well, not apparently, I know this for a fact, I've seen it, of these glass enclosures is a little bit of a sort of a curiosity piece in the town of Perth. That's all that's left. Millions and millions and millions of dollars, all with the best of intentions. Grand hopes, urban planning. They're going to sanitize. They're going to fix it up, just like they're going to do the market. They're going to sanitize the market. And then I remember fighting like hell, tooth and nail, to stop the damned planners and the smart guys and the university professors and the city councils from ripping up all the railway tracks that ran into our city from all directions. I stood in front of the Stittsville Town Council one night and pleaded with them, do not rip up those tracks. They go right through the center of this little town, right through. There's a little railway station right in the heart of Stittsville. Stittsville is growing in leaps and bounds along with Canada. This will be a wonderful commuter rail line. I had spent a year or so in Montreal West and worked in downtown Montreal. So every morning I would drive to the Montreal West train station, hop aboard a train, in those days, a steam train, and go to, so I knew all about commuter rail. You know what they did? No, they laughed at me. They thought I was crazy. They thought I was crazy. No, 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 no. Rail is out there. Said no, no. So they ripped up almost all of the railway tracks. What for? Well, we're going to make walking trails. We're going to have bike paths. I'm going to tell you something. If there is a dozen people walking or biking down that rail line in Stittsville or any other, I will eat my shirt. And I got a nice clean shirt here. So I mean, this was all the urban. These are these. I don't know where they come up with these ideas. They're going to sanitize. They always know best. And then the next target, well, actually, it was even before that, was Lower Town. I don't know how many of you people know, but the same urban planners went into Lower Town. Here, once again, was a blue-collar village, beautifully close-knit, mostly French-Canadian working class, but a wonderful neighborhood. I spent some time there. We had relatives in Lower Town. They loved it there. Just to show you the kind of thinking that went on and wiped out. They finally stopped wiping out Lower Town, but they destroyed about half of it. And all of those people who lived in this lovely little neighborhood, individual homes and so forth, visited the neighbors, never locked their doors. What'd they do? They stuffed them in those high-rise. Big improvement, right? I will never forget, just to show you the kind of thinking that went on with these dreamers and schemers. These people are always going to improve our lives. They know better. Oh, you can't live there. You can't live there. I mean, that's, I'll never forget. Wait till I get to the point. It's a city councilor. I forget his name. And he stood up in a town council meeting. This is when city council discussing what to do with Lower Town. And he said, we must have urban renewal in Lower Town. He said that we cannot continue to have people living like that. He said, you know what? He said, it is so bad in Lower Town that we have people down there raising chickens in their backyard. Honest to God. That was the thinking that destroyed a good chunk of Lower Town. Urban planning. Going to sanitize. And talking about sanitizing, they want to sanitize Byward Market. Now, going to spend, they say, $130 million doing it. They're going to plant trees. Well, I'm going to tell you, folks, people don't go to the market for trees, okay? If you want trees, you'll go to a park, right? If you want to play checkers and chess and so forth, you go to a park. If you want excitement, vibrancy, fun, a little bit of rowdiness, smelly, noisy, you'll go to the market. That's what people want. That's what people want. One of the best examples of this kind of thing is one of the most exciting streets, certainly at night, I believe in all of North America, is Bourbon Street in New Orleans. You been there? And this place, I mean, at night is just unbelievable. Just jammed with people, music, buskers, having fun, laughing. Once in a while, there's a fight. But I have to tell you something, folks. If you're comparing trees and fights and rowdiness, there'll be a hell of a lot more people gather around to watch a fist fight on the street than will gather around to watch a tree. I guarantee you that. People, if they want trees, they'll go to a park. We don't want, that's what they want to do in Bytown. They want to plant trees, but no cars. Hey, so I just can't. Actually, they've already started to sanitize the market. I remember not that long ago, and some of you will remember this as well, I am sure. There was a time in the market when it was a real farmer's market. Now, you can't go back to those days, I understand that. But you know what? It was so exciting in the market. You know why? Because you could go down there were live chickens of all kinds, live rabbits, live pigeons for sale. I remember one farmer even brought in live goats. So for kids in particular to go down there with all of these animals and the noise and the smells and the excitement, it was fun. It was exciting. Oh, no, said City Council. You know what? I objected. I fought them on that too. Oh, no, we can't have people selling chickens in the market. Why not? It's a farmer's market, for God's sake. Oh, well, we can't have people selling chickens, live chicken. Oh, no. So they've partially sanitized, and there's not much left of a real farmer's market there, is there? But what is there in the market now is what people want. People will decide what they want. The market will evolve because the people will demand. If the people want something else, that's what they'll get. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Folks, don't let them do it. Can someone please join me here in understanding what I am saying? I can't think of a single project in this city. I'm sure that there must be some, what's so-called urban renewal, that has actually improved life for anybody. Do you really think they improved the lives of people who are living in LeBreton Flats? Do you think they really improved the lives of people they pushed out of lower town and put into high-rise apartment? You think their lives are really improved? Let me ask you this. And I don't want to get into this too deeply, but I mean, Andy Hayden and I were the only people, as far as I know, in the city that warned you about light rail. It's very interesting because both Andy and I said, what you should do is, yes, we need the tunnel, get the trucks, the buses, etc., off downtown Ottawa, but run through buses, because very soon we said you'll have electric buses. They'll be able to go through. Well, they laughed at us, and now guess what? They're going to buy all electric buses. Well, what the hell, eh? So, folks, the number to call, we didn't have a single call yesterday, which I don't understand. It seems to me there's plenty to talk about. 613-413-2217. And John, how do they text us and so forth? I'd love to hear from some people.
Text is exactly the same number, 613-413-2217. We've got a call coming in now. Lowell, I'll be right back.
All right. Call is coming in. By the way, just while we're waiting for it, a word here about my good friends, and I mean good friends, at Shields in Pakenham. It's funny, I was talking to somebody yesterday about this, and they said, Lowell, I hear you talking about this Shields up in Pakenham, but Pakenham's just a little town. I mean, how the hell can anybody up there supply the City of Ottawa with appliances? It's the fact that they have a huge warehouse filled with appliances of all brands, all types, all prices. Shields.ca. Just go to the website, you'll see it. Great pricing. The prices are all marked there, including the government rebates. I keep warning you. A lot of these big box stores, they're not giving you the government rebate. There are government rebates on many appliances, and Shields is still giving them. Makes a big difference. Shields.ca, SCHEELS.ca. To the phone, John, who have we got, my boy?
Sorry about that. From British Columbia, Barry is on the line. Go ahead, Barry.
Good morning. What's doing in British Columbia, Barry?
The same insanity we see in the rest of the country right now, just a different lipstick on the same animal.
Okay.
Watching the world go crazy. I'm an online host myself, and it's the first time I've ever listened to you talk. I was enjoying your input, so I had to just call for a minute and say hi, and quick thought on what I see going on in my country right now. And I'm 66 years old now, bud, and what I'm seeing right now, I honestly believe that Canada is at a pinnacle, and we're at a turning point in history right now. What we see going on in this country is insanity. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but that's kind of where my attention is right now. I also am paying attention to some of the reports I hear about massive Chinese troops training in Canadian bases, and actually, like them or hate them, the rebel media is going to do they say, the biggest reports in their history here in about 10 minutes on documents they've seized about Canadian involvement with the CCP and the thousands of troops that are apparently training in Canada right now at bases like Camp Petawawa. So I thought I might bring that to your attention. If you want.
Simply not true. It's not true. These conspiracy theories, I think that they damage the conservative cause, to be honest with you. There's more nonsense that I read and hear these days. There's no Chinese troops training here. Why the hell would they do that? I mean, China's a huge country. If they want to train, they'll train in their own country. No, it's not. It's simply not true. I don't know where these stories start. I think that there are people out there who are deliberately trying to cause trouble in this country. By the way, let me get in a little beef about your province out there. It seems to me that this is what you should be raising hell about. While your province did everything it could to stop a pipeline from coming through, as you're fully aware, and virtually helped to bankrupt the province of Alberta, At the same time, your province, BC, is North America's #1 exporter of coal. Have you ever dealt with that?
I have. I'm well aware of that. But let me just make one reply to you. I won't keep you long. Let me make a reply to what you said about what I just said.
Sure.
If I could show you undeniable government documents, would that change your thinking about what I just said?
No, that's nonsense. Where would you get those government documents? Why are you doing this? You know what? You see, here's what drives me crazy. Why don't you attack your own province for the hypocrisy? You are the #1 exporter of coal there, but somehow or other your mind is wrapped around Chinese troops training at Petawawa.
Okay. Well, do you think that's my call of exporting of coal? Do you think that's my call? The NDP.
No, I'm asking you. Have you ever complained about it? Why don't you talk about that?
I can see that we're a long ways apart, but nice talking to you. Have a great day.
Okay, these conspiracy theorists, for God's sake. And by the way, in a moment, I'm going to deal with this whole business of the vaccinations and so forth. But in the meantime, I'm just simply saying to all of the planners and dreamers and counselors, keep your damned hands off the market. We love the market the way she is now. It's going to evolve. It's going to change. If you really want to, liven up the market, here's what you should do: improve the lighting. People love more lights. A lot more buskers. Should have live music on the street. In New Orleans, you've got people they're dancing on the streets. They're carrying booze on the streets. You don't have to carry booze necessarily, but have buskers, have excitement on the streets. Allow people to do what they want to do. But leave the damn trees in the parks, okay? If you want to play checkers and chess and you want trees, then go to a damn park, okay? There's all kinds of parks. If you want excitement, action, rowdiness, the odd little street fight, noise, smell, go to the market. Just improve it, okay? More buskers, more music out there, more excitement, more fun. F-U-N, fun. John, we got any more texts or anything? Nobody's agreeing with me
We've got
today.
some calls coming in, Lowell. I'll be with you in just a second.
All right. I got to deal with this. All this negative stuff pouring in over the whole business of vaccines, okay? Now, we've dealt with all the conspiracy theorists. Oh, they're going to put a microchip in your arm. Bill Gates wants to kill us all. I mean, all of this crapola. And the fact that anybody even believes any of this crap it just scares the hell out of me. But now, the big issue is the vaccine, whether it's going to be mandatory. Now, hardly anybody wants it to be mandatory, including me. And the province, Doug Ford, and the health minister of this province, says, no, it's not going to be mandatory. But what we will do is if you've been fully vaccinated, we will give you some sort of document, a passport or something just proving that you've been vaccinated. This is the conspiracy theorists are up in arms. Sorry, the conspiracy theorists are up in arms over this. Oh, the government's going to passport it. Wait a minute, hold it. The government isn't going to insist that you have this proof. And if you don't want the proof, then you don't have to have the proof. If you don't want to be vaccinated, don't get vaccinated, okay? And if you do get vaccinated and you don't want the proof, well, just flush the damn proof down the toilet. But there are going to be businesses and other countries who are going to insist, if you're going to come in, you're going to come into a theater, you're going to come into a dance parlor, you're going to come into a restaurant, whatever, going into an airplane. There may be some people who say we want to see proof of vaccination. So the government's going to provide that, and the government's being criticized for this. Got to take one more call. Yes, sir. Who's on the line here, John?
This is a Barry, but a Barry from Ottawa this time around.
Oh, God, I hope Barry's got a brain here. Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, well, I hope I've got one too, Lowell. I always thought I had. And I certainly don't follow any stuff like that previous Barry was saying.
Oh, yeah, there's thousands of Chinese troops. They're just, Petawawa is within sound of my voice. I got listeners up there. So all you people in Petawawa, look out. There's all sorts of Chinese troops up there. They're out there with their machine guns and God knows what, their machetes and so forth. It's unbelievable.
All I'm going to say on that is that if the Chinese want to train, they'll do it in their own country, and they'll do it for real on the Muslim Chinese and all the other people that they subjugate or or they treat really badly and don't give any human rights to. They don't have to come over here to train.
You have a point.
I also wanted to mention these overpriced buses for electric buses for Ottawa, Lowell, and all this liberal hype we get about sunny ways and going green and all this stuff, and like you pointed out many times about the solar farms and how useless they are and all the money that it's costing everyone on their hydro bills. I've come up with another acronym for the Liberals on that regard, and it's EEL, and it stands for Eclectic Electric Liberals.
Okay, all right.
It seems to me that they're so eclectic because they're all their brains are all stuck and mesmerized by green energy and electrical cars and everything else that they don't seem to realize they're not going to be able to turn the whole world electric.
Let me ask you, Barry, we're running a little short of time here. Can you believe that people are upset because the government's going to provide us with, if we want it, with proof that we've been vaccinated? Let me create a scenario here. In all probability, within 3 or 4 months, most of the United States is going to be fully vaccinated, okay? And COVID will be just a little whimper there. Now, if Canada has hardly anybody vaccinated and COVID is still widespread, do you really think that the Americans are going to let us go down there unless we have proof of vaccination? Don't you think that maybe Britain as well, they're going to want proof? What do you think?
Well, these people, their brains are dead because they're taking a stand against it right away before they're letting their brain get clear and think the government is providing it. The government is not making it mandatory for them. The government is big. The government is providing it for them, just like the government provides you with a passport. They're just so stupid and brain dead. They always want to fight against the government. They always want to protest. And they don't seem to hear anybody like you or Rob Snow saying, hey, it's not the government that's not going to let you on an airplane or on a cruise ship or something like that.
Precisely.
It's going to be the company that runs that business because they don't want their business ruined by COVID. Or
you know what? I'm glad you mentioned the cruise ships. I hadn't thought about that. But you're absolutely right. There is no freaking way that a cruise ship, after all they've gone through, are going to let you on a cruise ship unless you can prove you've been vaccinated. So the government says at no cost to you, they'll provide that proof. And we've got people up in arms claiming that it's some sort of damn plot. It's unbelievable what's going on out there.
Well, what bothers me too, Lowell, is the way this Trudeau Liberal government, they talk about doing things, and yet here we have, they close the borders down and stuff like that. They don't let anybody in the country. They won't let, like, say, the Toronto Raptors or the Toronto Blue Jays play up here, and they don't believe that that the major sports leagues will have their own bubble to contain everybody like they're doing with the NFL. But my point was that, to hear this news that there's people flying into the country that are testing positive or possibly spreading more COVID, and the Liberals, we got to get the airline industry going, and that's just all Trudeau's rich investors.
We're right out of time here, but you're absolutely right. They won't allow a Toronto Blue Jay to come in here, but they'll allow 100 people from China, for God's sake. Thanks for your call, Barry. We've got a text. John, who we got here?
On Facebook, we've got Paul who says, approve is approve is approve. So there's that. He says...
And, can I ask people, if you're going to, spend time doing that, say something worthwhile.
There you go.
Approve of the... Yeah.
Gary
Original,
says,
please. Yeah,
Gary says the need the proof of vaccines, especially for travel. Paul says, I remember the glass enclosures on Rideau Street in the winter. They were covered with salt spray.
Yeah.
Celadrew on Facebook says, Lowell, we need to bring back the small family farm and emphasis on that. We need to go back to the beginning where growing and producing your own food.
Not going to happen.
Then you'll see markets and gatherings for food and small animals will prosper.
It's a nice dream, but you're not going to see the small family farm anymore. You just can't make a living at it. But I'm glad that some people are responding to my point about the market. Folks, please pay attention, okay? I know sometimes you say he's just a grumpy old guy, but you know what? I've been right a number of times in the past. I was right about the Green Energy Act. I was right about a number of other things. And I suspect that I'm at least partially right about light rail. And I sure as hell was right about not ripping up the rail lines. And believe me, I say I've lived through this. I've been through it. I was there when those women were sobbing around me as they destroyed their village in LeBreton Flats. And those goddamn planners and urban and councillors and all the rest of it. 58 years later, still done bugger all down there. I mean, that's the kind of thing. And, you know, keep the market, stay out of the market. Spend the $130 million doing something useful. Don't bugger up the market, please. Join me on this. If you've got a city councillor anywhere, let them know, hey, hands off, okay? These urban planners, you can't do it. Give me one. If anybody can give me one example of where one of these schemes, one of these urban plans has improved the lives of people, I'd sure as hell like to know. Thank you all. We're right out of time. Thank you for the emails, the phone calls. And by the way, if Barry out there on the West Coast wants to call me again, I'd be glad to hear him, and I'll be glad to debate him. I just don't understand why someone with a voice on the West Coast would not raise hell about the hypocrisy of their own damn province. Thank you all. We'll be back.
Thanks for tuning in to the new No Holds Barred show on BlastTheRadio.com. And get the show on demand with the Lowell Green Podcast. Available on iTunes, Spotify, Google, and more.